Stop for a moment. Don't scroll away from this, because what you're about to hear is not something random, and it is not something that happens every day. There is a reason you clicked on this. Even if you don't understand it yet, somewhere in your life right now, there is a shift happening. You may have felt it already, in quiet moments when your mind suddenly goes silent, or when someone's presence starts feeling heavier than usual, without any clear reason. And today, this message is connected to something very specific. There is a person whose energy has been close to your life recently, and the initial connected to this presence is Jay. Now, before your mind starts creating stories, listen carefully. This is not about fear, and it is not about blaming anyone. This is about awareness, because not every person who enters your life is meant to stay in your life. Some people come to teach you something that words cannot explain. Some people come to shake your emotions so you can finally see your own strength. And some people come only to reveal what you were ignoring inside yourself for too long. You might already know who this is about. Deep down, not because someone told you, but because your energy already reacted before your thoughts did. Think about it. There are moments when everything feels normal, and then suddenly something shifts inside you. A conversation feels different, a silence feels heavier, a presence feels confusing. Even if nothing wrong is happening on the surface, that feeling is not random. That feeling is information. And right now, you are being asked to pay attention to it, because life does not always send answers in words. Sometimes life speaks in discomfort, in intuition, in quiet emotional signals that you cannot fully explain. And you have been feeling something, haven't you? A kind of inner confusion, mixed with curiosity, mixed with a pull that you cannot easily describe. This is exactly the space where clarity begins to form, not through noise, but through awareness. And here is what you must understand very clearly. Not every connection is meant to continue just because it feels familiar. Familiarity is not the same as alignment. Comfort is not the same as truth. And emotional pull is not always a sign of something meant for you right now. You are in a phase of your life where things are not staying the same. You are changing, even if you have not fully noticed it yet. And when a person starts changing internally, their relationships start revealing hidden truths. People who were once fine may suddenly feel different, and people you were unsure about may become impossible to ignore emotionally. This is not confusion. This is awakening. And the reason this message feels so personal is because it is touching something you already feel but have not fully accepted yet. There is a part of you that already knows the answer, but there is also a part of you that is still attached to understanding everything through emotions. And today, you are being guided to slow down inside your own mind, not to react, not to decide instantly, but to observe. Because clarity does not come when you chase it. Clarity comes when you become still enough to see what was already there. And very soon, something will make sense to you in a way it never did before. A moment, a realization, or even a simple silence will start telling you everything without words. And when that happens, you will not need anyone else's explanation. You will just know. And when that moment comes, you will not need anyone to convince you. You will not need proof. You will not need explanations, because truth does not arrive loudly. Truth arrives quietly, but it hits deeper than anything else. And right now, your life is preparing you for that kind of truth. You may have noticed something recently. A certain person, a certain presence, a certain emotional pull that does not leave your mind easily, even when you try to ignore it. It returns, not always as thoughts, sometimes as feelings, sometimes as memories that don't even feel complete, but still affect your mood. And this is where you need to be very honest with yourself, because deep inside, you already feel that something is different about this connection. Not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, but different enough that it does not leave your inner peace untouched. And when something disturbs your peace more than it supports it, You cannot ignore that forever. You can delay the realization, but you cannot escape it. Now listen carefully. This is not about labeling someone as wrong, and this is not about forcing yourself to hate or reject anyone. This is about understanding a deeper truth about your own emotional space, because not every connection in your life is meant to grow. Some connections are meant to expose your patterns, your attachment style, your emotional expectations, and even the parts of you that still hope people will change if you just wait long enough. But life does not always work like that. Sometimes life brings you a mirror in the form of a person, and that mirror does not show you their face. It shows you your own emotional reality, and that is where confusion begins, because you start thinking it is about them, when in reality, it is about what is happening inside you. Think about it honestly. Have you been overthinking more than usual? Have you been replaying conversations in your mind? Have you been trying to find meaning in small things? Gestures, messages, silence if yes. Then this is not just a connection, this is an emotional activation. Something inside you is waking up. Something that wants clarity, something that refuses to stay in uncertainty anymore. And this is exactly why you are feeling both attraction and confusion at the same time, because your heart is still holding on. But your awareness is starting to wake up, and this creates inner conflict. One part of you wants to understand everything, but another part of you is silently saying, I don't feel fully at peace here. And this voice, the quiet one, is the one you usually ignore, but today you are being reminded to listen to it, because intuition does not shout, it whispers, and the more you ignore it, the louder life makes the situation until you finally pay attention. There is also something very important you need to understand about timing. People do not enter your life randomly. They enter during phases, and right now, you are in a transition phase, a phase where your thinking is changing, your emotional boundaries are changing, and your expectations from people are changing, which means what used to feel normal before will no longer feel normal now. What you used to tolerate will start feeling heavy, and what you used to ignore will start feeling impossible to ignore. This is growth, but growth is not always comfortable. Sometimes growth feels like confusion before it becomes clarity, and that is exactly where you are right now, between confusion and understanding, between attachment and awareness, between what you feel and what you are starting to realize. And slowly, very slowly, you will notice something changing inside you. The emotional intensity will not feel the same as before. You will start stepping back mentally, not because you forced it, but because your inner self is finally protecting your peace. And when that happens, you will not feel loss first. You will feel silence, and in that silence, clarity will start forming on its own. Because truth does not need force. Truth only needs space. And right now, life is giving you that space. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels uncertain, it is still guiding you somewhere important, and very soon, something will click inside your mind so clearly that you will not be able to unsee it again, and that will be the beginning of your real decision. Not emotional, not impulsive, but clear. And now, my beloved child, as you continue walking through this phase of your life, I need you to understand something very deeply. What you are feeling right now is not confusion without purpose. It is not emotional chaos without meaning. It is a process, a divine refinement of your awareness. Because there are moments in life when silence itself becomes a message, when distance itself becomes an answer, and when a certain person, a certain connection, starts losing its emotional grip on your spirit. That is not randomness. That is alignment shifting inside you. You may still feel them in your thoughts. You may still feel the pull sometimes, unexpectedly, without warning. But listen carefully, my beloved child. Just because something still exists in your memory does not mean it still belongs in your path. And this is the hardest truth for the heart to accept, because the heart remembers feelings. not direction but your soul, your deeper awareness. It is already moving ahead of your emotions. That is why you feel this internal distance growing, not from hatred, not from anger, but from clarity. That is slowly forming beneath the surface of your emotions, and I want you to observe something very honestly within yourself. There are moments when you think about this connection and you feel calm. And then there are moments when you feel uncertain, restless, or emotionally pulled into questions you cannot fully answer. This imbalance is not something you should ignore, because peace is never unstable, truth does not create confusion, and alignment does not constantly disturb your inner world. So when your peace fluctuates around a connection, it is not asking you to overthink it. It is asking you to observe it, and slowly, if you stay honest with yourself, you will begin to notice something very powerful happening. You will stop chasing understanding. You will stop replaying old conversations. You will stop trying to decode silence. And instead, you will start listening to your own stillness. And that stillness, my beloved child, is where truth finally becomes visible, not in words, not in signs,